What's up guys, it's Danta. So recently the new expansion for World of Warcraft came out and I've been playing it a lot. Like, a lot. Now I don't know if you guys feel the same, but this expansion just feels way more fun than Dragonflight. The story, the dungeons, the zones, it all just feels so much better. Sure, and the wind still cries about everything, but overall, I feel like the vibes of this expansion are just way better than Dragonflight. Anyway, as some of you might know, I like leveling up new characters in WoW a lot. I actually found it way more fun than the actual Dragonflight content. So much so, that I ended up leveling 100 characters to level 70. Now back in Dragonflight, I made a 1 to 70 leveling guide that a lot of people found helpful. So, I figured it's time to make a new 1 to 80 leveling guide video for you guys. Now for this guide, I actually wanted to level up the new Earthen race, but they will not be available until the 3rd of September, I think. So instead, I decided to level in Dark Iron Dwarf Shaman from scratch to see how long it would take me to reach level 80. And with Chromie time now working up to level 70, you can actually reach max level in about 10 hours. Now if I did this with a class that I'm more familiar with, bought the 10% increased XP potion, and hadn't gotten kicked from a dungeon at level 70 because my item level was below 400, I could have easily reached level 80 in 8 to 9 hours, maybe even faster. Now just to make it clear, this guide is mostly for those looking to level up alts, since we are going to use Chromie time all the way up to level 70. And unfortunately, if you are a new player and haven't leveled a character to max level yet, you won't be able to use Chromie time. Instead, you will be forced to level in Dragonflight until you reach level 70. Now I don't know if this still works, but you used to be able to trick the game into thinking that you already had a max level character on your account by making a trial character. Then after that, Chromie time would become available for your new characters. But again, I'm not sure if this still works, so don't get mad at me if it doesn't. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's just get started with the video, shall we? So before we get started with leveling, there are a couple of things that you should know that might make it go faster and smoother. So for those that have been gone for a while, heirlooms no longer give you any XP boost. However, if you've upgraded them to scale up to level 70, they do make it so that you don't have to deal with swapping gear all the time, which is nice because it saves you time. Now this might actually be the only reason why you would want to get heirlooms. If you are unsure where to buy or upgrade heirlooms, there are vendors in Orgrimmar for the Horde and in Ironforge for the Alliance. I will include a link in the description with the exact location. Now there's also a potion called the Draught of the Ten Lands or Draft of the Ten Lands. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Now this potion gives you a 10% XP boost, but is only usable until level 49. Now this potion can be bought for 5 medals in Borealis if you are Alliance, or Dazar Lore if you are Horde. You can simply earn those medals by doing BFA content. Oh, and if you are unable to buy this potion, don't worry about it. I've leveled a lot of characters without it because, well, I usually forget to buy it. But if you have the currency for it, I'd say just go get it. Then there's also a new achievement in the game, which kind of functions like the old heirlooms, I guess. This achievement basically gives your entire account an increased XP buff. Every time you level a character to 80, your account gets a 5% XP buff. This increases by 5% for every other character that you get to level 80. Now the buff caps at 25% for now, but honestly, I really hope that they remove the cap and let people with a lot of max level characters just go crazy. Just a heads up, this also means that some players with more level 80 characters will be able to level up their alts a bit faster than others. Lastly, you want to check out which events are going on. For example, the Darkmoon Fair. This is up every first Sunday of the month and can give you a 10% XP buff. Then we also have the time walking events. They will show up every 3 weeks, I think, and award a lot, and I mean a lot of XP. Almost an entire level whenever you complete a time walking dungeon. But just be aware that some time walking dungeons have level requirements. The last event you want to keep an eye out for is the 20th anniversary event, starting somewhere in October or November. This event will probably award you with a 20% increased XP buff. So yeah, keep your eyes open for all events as well. That's it for the preparations. Let's just get started with leveling up. This part is only for those that are not going to level up an allied race, since those characters already start at level 10. Now, when you create a new character, you can choose between leveling in your race's starting zone or Exile's Reach. I highly recommend starting in Exile's Reach. Exile's Reach is basically an updated beginner zone, and you can go through it really fast. It's a small zone where you do some simple quests, pick up a couple of treasures along the way, and the best part of it all is that Exile's Reach can be completed in under an hour if you are taking it easy. Personally, I usually finish it in about 30 minutes, and it could be even faster depending on your class. Now, when you are done with Exile's Reach, you will be either level 10 or 11. For the 10 to 20 part, I usually go with one of two methods. The first one is dungeon spamming with Chromie time. Now, I always choose the Cataclysm timeline because it lets us queue for classic dungeons. These dungeons are very easy, have quests that award nice XP, and at lower levels you will be killing dungeon mobs and bosses really fast. However, if you are as unlucky as me, you might end up sitting in queue for 10 minutes or end up in a dungeon group where people don't even know how to press a button, and the dungeon will basically just take years to complete. This happened to me when leveling this shaman, and I'm not gonna lie, it can become very annoying. So, when I don't want to sit in queue, or deal with people that have a lower IQ than their average room temperature, I use method 2, questing in the Legion timeline. First I head over to Chromie and select the Legion timeline. Then I quest around in Azuna and complete a couple of bonus objectives until level 20. Now, for those that didn't know this yet, Blizzard made dragon riding available right away at level 10, which means that you can fly from one quest to another very fast. Also, if you spot a Legion invasion on your map, be sure to do all the world quests in that invasion area. They give a lot of XP and will get you to level 20 in no time. That's pretty much how I leveled up from level 10 to 20. The first thing that I do whenever I'm going from level 20 to 50-ish, it kind of depends on how many XP increase buffs you have, is enabling War Mode. Now, doing this will give you an extra 10% XP buff. After enabling War Mode, we are going to use Chromie time to level up in the old classic zones. So I go to Chromie and select the Cataclysm timeline. Now, the main reason I use the Cataclysm timeline is because these older zones have a lot of simple quests that are clustered together and they can be done very fast, especially since we have access to dragon riding right away. So what I do on an Alliance character is very simple. I will go and do all quests in Duskwood, Red Ridge Mountain, and Loch Modan. When leveling a Horde character, I would recommend doing all the quests in Silverpine Forest, Hillsbred Foothills, and either Arati Highlands or the Hinterlands. So yeah, that's basically how I reach level 50 to 54 in around 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's very simple because all you gotta do is just do a couple of quests. Now, sometimes it can go even faster, but it kind of depends on how familiar I am with my class. Now, like I said before, the level you end up with at the end of questing through all of those zones depends on how many XP increase buffs you have. That said, even if you only have the War Mode buff, you'd still probably end up somewhere around level 50. So, after completing all the quests in the 3 zones that I mentioned before, we want to go back to Chromie and select the Draenor timeline. Now, the reason that we want to start questing in Draenor now is because Draenor has a lot of bonus objectives, quests, and treasures that award a good amount of XP. No matter which faction you are playing on, you really want to do the intro quests for Draenor, because they can be completed really fast and will give you somewhere between 2 to 4 levels. Once the intro quest is finished, I usually keep questing until I've set up my garrison, and after that I just fly to Gorgrond. Now, if you want to earn some fast XP while making your way to Gorgrond, you should complete any bonus objective that you fly over. They award an insane amount of XP. Now, when I reach Gorgrond, I basically start doing some main and side quests, pick up some treasures, and do more bonus objectives. And that's basically it. It's really simple, and it only took me around 1 hour to reach level 70, which is kind of insane, to be honest. In total, it took me around 5 hours of playtime to reach level 70. Now, it could have been a lot faster, but anyway, what am I complaining about, right? Like, 5 hours isn't that bad. So, now it's time for the last part, which is also the part that takes the longest. Leveling from 70 to 80 isn't as bad as 60 to 70 leveling was back in Dragonflight, in my opinion, because it goes a lot faster. However, after the hotfix that Blizzard made to make leveling from 70 to 75, I think, harder with lower item level, you need to make sure that you buy yourself some 400 plus item level gear the moment that you reach level 70. If you don't, you will probably keep getting one-shot in dungeons, do 0 damage in them, and eventually be kicked like I was. Oh man. Anyway, right now I've leveled quite a few characters to 80. And to be honest, what I found to be the fastest way to level 80 was simply doing the main quests with war mode on while queuing for dungeons. Also, while flying from quest to quest, I always keep an eye out for bonus objectives and world quests, because they can award a good amount of XP as well. Oh, by the way, for those that are not seeing any world quests on their map, to be able to see any world quests on your map while leveling from 70 to 80, you need to have completed the main campaign and reach max level with at least one character. Now, besides leveling this way, there are 2 other things that you could try. Besides buying a boost, of course. If you have a couple of friends, you could just spam dungeons over and over as a 5-man pre-mate. This is by far the fastest way to level up for now, I think. If everyone knows what to do, right? Then there's also time walking dungeons. Now, the first time walking event in this expansion will start in 3 weeks. So it's not clear yet if you will be able to rush through these dungeons, just like in Dragonflight. But if nothing has changed, I feel like spamming time walking dungeons will be the fastest way to level up to 80. But yeah, that's how I basically level up my characters from 1 to 80. Now, this shaman has around 10 hours of playtime, but it had so much go wrong. Like, so much. An AFK dungeon group, laggy servers, forgot the XP potion, and when I reached level 70, I had 0 gear, which made leveling to 71 take way too long. Especially since I'm not used to playing an enhancement shaman. So I'm sure that it is possible to reach level 80 in 8 to 9 hours while taking it easy. Probably even faster. Now, before I'm going to end this video, I just want to mention a couple of other ways that you could level up to 80. Because otherwise, I'm sure I will have some people yelling in the comment section below. So another way to level up is by only questing in Draenor. Since Draenor is great for questing, you could also just select the Draenor timeline whenever you can and basically start questing there until you reach level 70. So if you don't want to quest in some of the old zones and just want to stay in one place, then this is something that you could go for. Now, another way that you could level up is by only spamming dungeons. Now, I used to do this a lot, just spamming dungeons while questing. If you don't care about how fast you level up, or if you want some variation, you can just start queuing for dungeons over and over, all the way up to level 80. Now, I stopped doing this because sometimes you end up with a group that consists of 4 randoms, and they have a combined IQ of 4, which makes going through these dungeons a nightmare. Now, in the end, it's all about what you enjoy the most. Leveling fast is fun and all, but if you don't enjoy rushing quests, or the zones that I recommend for you to level in, just go to another zone, queue up for dungeons, do whatever the hell you want, because eventually you will still hit level 80. The most important thing is still that you do what you want to do and enjoy it. It's just as simple as that. Anyway guys, that's all I have for you today. If this video was helpful, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Also, if you have any questions or maybe some other method to reach level 80 in a fast way, then just let me know in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.